Now, I mentioned that some of you probably had a great weekend, and some of you probably had a crap weekend. I know for a fact yesterday was a really rough day for, among others, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady haters, and the Green Bay Packers. Brutal. I mean, really brutal. Because Tom Brady and his new team are going back to the Super Bowl once again, and, you know, Belichick, the hood, is sitting at home, grumbling and muttering to himself. So over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a whole lot to say about Brady and the Bucs. So I'm going to actually keep it brief today. But let me say this. I don't care how much you hate this guy. I don't care how lame his social media is. You have to admit, what Brady has done this season is pretty damn impressive. Yes, I know that he handpicked a team that is loaded with weapons on offense and has got a ton of talent on defense. I know that he went to the best spot that he could find. I know that he got his old tight end out of retirement and that he brought in Mr. Big Chest. I know there is more talent on this Bucs team than on this year's Pats team. But still, he's going back to the Super Bowl again in his first season with a new team and a new coach and a new scheme and no offseason or preseason to speak of. And if you're being really honest, at times in the first half yesterday, Brady looked younger and fresher and stronger than almost ever before. It was a laser show. Like, I see that and what that guy was doing in the first half, and I'm swearing off nightshades for the rest of my life. I mean, for the longest of times, I didn't even know what the hell a nightshade was. I see that, and I'm wondering, is this old man still selling his recovery pajamas? And if so, how much do they cost? Hell, I don't even care what they cost. I've got to get me some. Oh, and that $200 coffee book table, too. Give me a couple of those. I'm watching this guy in the first half at 43 on the road in the NFC title game, and I'm thinking, how the hell is that even possible? And then when he started handing out interceptions like they were avocado ice cream cones, his defense bailed him out time and time again, which reminds me, you better start giving Todd Bowles some love, some run, because his defense has carried and picked that team up time and time again this year. And yes, even though the refs let both teams play, they sure did come out with a really convenient flag for Tampa when they needed it most. Now, I'm not saying that was not pass interference by Kevin King on 3rd and 4 with 1:46 to go in the game, and the Packers needing a stop to get the ball back. What I am saying is that was not PI for the 58 minutes that came before it. Again, there'll be lots of time to talk about Brady and the Bucs and what they've done. There's a really high risk of hitting Jerome Bettis is from Detroit levels of talk about Brady and the Bucs and the fact that they're playing the Super Bowl at home. We'll get to that. Plenty of time for that. All of that. We have 2 weeks for that. But for now, and I hate to do this, Packer fans, but we've got to talk about a couple of moments from yesterday. What they meant to the game and what they might mean to the future of that team. And you know the moments that I'm talking about. The first one came with 34 seconds left in the first half, when Sean Murphy Bunting picked off Aaron Rodgers at midfield. Not an ideal outcome, given that Green Bay had hoped to get points at the end of the half and then start the second half with the ball. But the defense came up with stops on first, second, and third down. Then came fourth down, and Tampa Bay's decision not to punt and try to pick up the first down. I mean, not surprising at all if they try, right? It's Bruce Arians. The shock was initially when it looked as if they were going to punt. Of course they were going to go for it. Why would you punt there? Why would you even send the punt team out onto the field in the first place? But then it gets worse for Green Bay, so much worse. Not only did the Bucs go for it, not only did they get the first down, no risk it, no biscuit, and Brady was shoveling biscuits into his face like they were made of alkalizing vegetables. That throw from Brady was as good as that coverage was horrible. I mean, I'm really not sure what defensive coordinator Mike Pettin was thinking by dialing that up on the final play of the half. What did you think was going to happen there? I'm not going to say it was the worst call ever, but Tony Dungy, of all people, will, Keep in mind, this is Tony Dungy we're talking about. Tony Dungy is not known for slinging lava or delivering straight fire. It's not his deal. But it was after he saw how that half ended. My man was reaching for his phone and thumbing out the following, and I quote, "That may be the worst defensive design I've ever seen with 8 seconds and no timeouts left. Green Bay, I'm not sure how you play inside technique, man-to-man, and not just play zone and protect the sideline and the end zone. Amazing." End of tweet. I mean, damn. You know you've messed up when Tony Dungy is ripping your play call on Twitter and calling it, quote, "the worst defensive design I've ever seen." End of quote. If Tony Dungy is unloading on you, you know you've done something really dumb. If you see a tweet like that from that guy, and you're the guy who just dialed up that play, then you simply shake everybody's hand, you pack up your office, and you beat it. Triple G, Greg Williams, cannot believe that play call. And neither could Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, who said the following. How about that? Just ran his guy right under the bus. Just ran his dude right under the bus. But then in the second half, LaFleur pushed Pettine aside and said, "Hey, yo, hold my beer." Because with just over 2 minutes left in the game, LaFleur made the call that may very well haunt him for the rest of his career. And it could change the course of that franchise. 4th and goal from the 8, down by 8. LaFleur elects to kick a field goal instead of trying to tie the game. And I know the offense had stalled out on the previous 3 plays. I know there may have been an opportunity for Aaron Rodgers to scramble on 1 or 2 of those plays. But that 4th down call is going to go down in history because you can't make that call. You simply cannot make that call. You cannot elect to give the ball back to Tom Brady and then dare him to run 2 minutes off the clock to get to a Super Bowl. I don't even care that that guy had thrown interceptions on 3 straight drives in the 4th quarter. It's Tom Brady. You give the ball to Brady, you're not getting the ball back. It's a fact. It's just not happening. Especially if you take the ball out of your own MVP's hands. Think about that for a minute. You just ripped the ball from the soon-to-be league MVP and one of the greatest to ever do it in order to give it to the actual greatest to ever do it. The hell is that? Is there anyone anywhere not named Matt LaFleur who thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to touch the ball again after that decision? Hell no. I got to know, Coach. I got to know. What do you have to say for yourself? Sounds like my man regrets that it didn't work out, but not the decision. Look, I know they had 3 timeouts, and I know they had the 2-minute warning. I know they thought they could get a stop, and they nearly did. But you're talking about giving the ball back to Tom Brady with a Super Bowl trip on the line. You know how this goes, or at least you should. And it's not just that he took the field goal over the chance at a TD. It's that he went with his defense over Aaron Rodgers. That's the kind of thing that's going to leave a mark. Got to wonder, right? Like, what do you think Aaron thought of that? What do you think was going through Aaron's mind when that all was playing out? Quote, "It wasn't my decision." It's a hell of a statement, right? And it's completely correct. Not only was the 4th down not his decision, but if he had known that LaFleur was going to kick a field goal, he probably would have been more aggressive on 3rd down. As Aaron said, quote, "I thought maybe we were going to have 4 chances to go," end quote. But he never got that 4th chance. He probably thought it was 2-down territory. Yeah, I don't know, Matty. Maybe you actually communicate to your Hall of Famer. Maybe you tell him before 3rd down, "Yo, big dude, this is not 2-down territory. Punch it in right now, because if you don't, I'm taking the points." But apparently that's not what he did. Rodgers had to be, what the bleep, when he saw Mason Crosby and that field goal team come out. No wonder he was not exactly enthusiastic when discussing his future with the team after the game. Can you believe the guy or blame the guy? He probably had John L. Smith running through his head on repeat. I bet he had that thing on a loop in his head. Of course he was in no mood to discuss his future with the team after that all went down. My man is solemn. Understandably so, too. Now what? Now what? Now what? He was also asked how the team can take the next step. I'll tell you what, I get that guys are going to be, as Rodgers said, gutted after a loss like that. But, man, that was completely and totally gutting. You can hear it in his voice. So I'm not going to hold him to what he says in that emotional time. In a moment like that, right after the game, I get that. I understand that. But honestly, I never thought that I would say this, but I will. I absolutely understand if this guy wants to leave. He and the team just battled through so much to get to this point. This guy passed for 48 touchdowns and only 5 INTs. He's the league MVP. And even while he was facing the most pressure that he's ever faced in a playoff game, he still threw for nearly 350 yards, 3 TDs, and had only 1 pick. The guy played his ass off. Brady is going to get all the glory and adulation, and understandably so. But Rodgers absolutely was the better player on the field, is the better player right now, and did everything he was supposed to do, and just had another trip to the Super Bowl ripped from him in brutal fashion. And he's got to be wondering if his coach believes in him. And the fact that the team used a first-round pick that might have come in handy yesterday on a quarterback who was holding a clipboard who is going to be his replacement. Man, you see that. You see that, and then you see what happened when Brady went to a new situation. Brady is the one going to a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is going to look at that and think to himself, you know what? I wonder, man. I wonder if I can do that. I wonder if I can do what that guy did. I would hate to see Aaron leave. It would just feel wrong, but I would completely understand if he did. I would love to see this guy start and finish in the same place. But if they're not all in on him, how can you expect him to be all in on them? But know this, he's not done, not even close to it. He just played arguably the greatest football of his career. He might have really played his last down in Green Bay, but that does not mean this guy's done. Not even close. Question is, do the Packers run it back again? And this time, do they do right by him? Because if they're not going to, somebody else might. And then he would owe it to himself to find out who that is. Because he doesn't have to look any further than the guy who he just outplayed, who has exactly what he wants, another shot at the trophy. Man, I can't imagine seeing Aaron Rodgers in somebody else's gear, but maybe it is time. And not because of anything he said or did. He did his job. He always does. And if Aaron does leave, good luck with that, Jordan Love. I'm not blaming you. You didn't pick yourself. It's not your fault. But good luck following that legend. Yeah, fans adjust pretty easily. I think there's still Favre maniacs out there saying that Brett would have beat the Bucs. Hell, those Favre maniacs think that Brett would have beat the Bucs today, at age whatever he is. Maybe on his way out, you can ask Aaron how he handled it. Come on, Jared. 1-800-636-8686. Couldn't even get to the Bills in Kansas City. But I had a lot of thoughts on the NFC Championship game and how that went down, how it went down for the Packers, how that went down for Aaron Rodgers. And again, Tom Brady, it is amazing. It really is what he did. And yes, he handpicked it. Yes, he had weapons. But the fact that he did what he did in a COVID year and is back in the Super Bowl already is pretty amazing. Say what you want about the guy and his baggy social media.